We got this one from the Daily Wire. CBS anchor met with race and culture unit following question of Ta-Nehisi Coates. Tony Ducapil told colleagues he regretted putting them in a tough position, but stood by his questioning. Oh my God, this is amazing. So this dude is interviewing like an anti-racist, woke guy, dares to ask a question, and they make him do the re-education seminar. Bravo, CBS Mornings. Check this out. A CBS Mornings anchor who pressed woke activist Ta-Nehisi Coates on his new book about the Israel-Gaza conflict was forced to meet with the network's race and culture unit. Tony Ducapil spent an hour with the CBS News Standards and Practice team at its in-house race and culture unit, during which he was lectured about the tone, phrasing, and body language he used during his interview with Coates. His body... Yo, I got to give a shout out to Matt Walsh. What's the Do the Work workshop, right? I got to pull this up. Let's talk about body language. Look at, do you over smile? Wait for it. There you go. That for those that are just listening, I know you can't see it, but one of the jokes in Am I Racist is that and this is real stuff. They tell Matt Walsh that over smiling is racist. So for their DEI seminar, they made a do you over smile, and it shows varying degrees of smiling, where one's just a regular smile, and with increasing insanity, the last one looks like someone who's suffering some kind of mental breakdown. It looks like the Joker. So the point is, his body language was offensive, so he had to do the struggle session. Dude, I am so happy I don't work for these corporations. I am so happy that we exist, that, Steven Crowder, Daily Wire, Blaze. I'm so happy, Dave Rubin. I'm so happy that there's an alternative media space where we don't struggle session people for body language. Following the meeting, Ducapil met with staffers and told them he regretted putting his colleagues in that position, especially the ones overseas and in danger. There were... I'm sorry. There were tears. People were very upset. The source told the Post that staffers were divided on the situation in Israel and troubled by his questioning of Coates. Sources told the Post that Ducapil didn't apologize for his questioning, which pressed Coates on his views of Palestinians as perpetual victims. For as sure as my ancestors were born into a country where none of them were equal of any white man, Israel was revealing itself to be a country where no Palestinian is ever equal of any Jewish person anywhere, Coates wrote in his book. Ducapil, who is Jewish, pressed Coates on the particular framing. I have to say, when I read the book, I imagine if I took your name out of it, took away the awards, the acclaim, took the cover of the book, publishing house goes away, the content of that section would not be out of place in the backpack of an extremist. Bravo. Ducapil said in the interview, according to CNN. Ducapil also pushed Coates to answer why he left out so many facts in the book that were beneficial to Israel. Why leave out that Israel is surrounded by countries that want to eliminate it? Why leave out that Israel deals with terror groups that want to eliminate it? He asked. Fair question. Now look, the people who don't like Israel are going to get mad, say, oh, you. No. I don't care if you're critical of Israel. You're allowed to be, but you're allowed to ask. Give us a real answer to this. And I'll give a shout out to Dave Smith, who's critical of Israel. I know that Dave would in good faith answer those questions. And he would give reasonable answers. And he would concede some points and contest others. Real debate needs to happen. I respect a journalist who wants to ask these questions, and they deserve legitimate answers. Coates didn't get upset or hostile towards his questioning, and responded by saying his book was not supposed to be an exact history of the conflict, but about different perspective, even though the perspective he put forth is the dominating one in academic and media circles. I am most concerned always with those who don't have a voice, Coates said. Following the interview, some correspondents and producers at CBS complained that he was biased towards Israel and showed that bias during his interview with Coates. This is the outright scumbaggery of the corporate press. A real journalist is going to ask a question that needs to be asked, even if it's one people may not want asked. He may be biased, that's fine. But if Coates is coming out outright and saying pro-Palestine, and anti-Israel, then it is incumbent upon the journalist to say, well, let's entertain the counterpoint. How would you respond to these questions? There's no bias in that. It's that these woke corporations are far left. We know they're far left. And so they're going to struggle session this guy for daring to ask that question. When Ducapil was forced into a meeting and to apologize to coworkers, CBS did nothing. CBS did nothing when Gayle King lectured the father of an 8-year-old Israeli girl who was being held hostage by Hamas that he needed to have compassion for Palestinians as well.
But now this seems to be all about politics. What do you say about that? You know, you have innocent children in Palestinians who are dying, innocent Israeli children who are dying, and no one seems to be able to say enough, stop that.
I'm not interested in politics at all. My only concern is getting Emily back.
Jeez. The man's daughter is being held hostage, dude. And he doesn't want to talk politics. Now, I will say, I will defend Gayle King to a certain degree. I don't know that that's the right question for a dad whose daughter is held hostage and he's saying, I just want my daughter back. Comparing them, I don't think is necessarily fair. I actually think a reprimand, I don't want a reprimand. I think it's fine. You don't need a struggle session. You don't need to send someone to the DEI boss. You go to the Gayle King and say, hey, maybe don't ask the dad whose daughter's kidnapped about the political stuff, just for future reference. That's all you got to do, right? That's it. Here's what you get. But let's talk about Ta-Nehisi Coates, right? Who is this guy? They gave him a Marvel issue several years ago. It got canceled after 2 issues. He is as woke as they come. Okay, but what do Americans think? Well, let me show you. The Hill says, most Americans favor DEI programs survey. According to the Washington Post, 61% of Americans think it's a good thing for companies to take up DEI programs. Unheard. Washington Post misleads readers with DEI poll. What I love about this is, imagine if I went to you and I said, do you like having your, I was going to be really crass with it, but I'll tone it down. Do you like it when people flick your ears? You know what I mean? You're going to be like, no, I don't like it at all. And you're going to go, actually, you do. And they're going to say, what? When the Washington Post tells people that most Americans enjoy nuisance, annoyance, and racism, you're just telling people themselves who don't like it that other people do. They're trying to convince everybody that's normal. Unheard says, the Washington Post released this poll showing 61% of Americans think DEI is a good thing. Meanwhile, businesses around the country are gutting DEI programs. The example demonstrates the degree to which the framing of an opinion poll can influence the results. What we might ask is the fuller description of DEI that represents what we're offered. Is it, quote, programs to hire more employees from groups that are underrepresented in the workforce, such as racial and ethnic minorities and people with disabilities, and to promote equity in the workplace? The first thing we might notice here is that the most important word to define in the DEI trinity is the most prone to misrepresentation. Equity goes undefined. Let me simplify it because unheard doesn't get a little verbose. Let me ask you a question. Do you think here we go. Is it bad? We're doing a poll here. Guys, answer the question in the comments. Is it bad if a business overwhelmingly hires only one race of people? What do you think? And I think most people would say yes. Why? Because the implication is they're intentionally targeting a race of people. I didn't say that, though. I said they overwhelmingly hire one race of people. Majority of this country is white. The majority of the company's employees are going to be white. That's not because they're racist. That's not because they hate minorities. It's because the applicants are overwhelmingly white, and you are going to see that relationship. Then you said, do you think companies that overwhelmingly only hire, and you see why I'm playing word games here, groups of one race should try better to hire people of other races? And people are going to be like, yeah. And they're going to go, bang, this person supports DEI. No, they don't. Because DEI is when a journalist asks a question and they send you to a struggle session where people are crying. That's DEI. The reality is, a company that only hires one race of people, the question needs to be broken down. But they'll try and trick you. Imagine sitting with a journalist and they go, do you think it's bad if a company is mostly hiring one race? I'd say, no, I don't think so. Oh, you're racist. No. What I'm saying is, if a company is based out of Omaha, Nebraska or something, and most people who live there are white, they're mostly hiring white people. I have no problem with that. Now, if the question is, the owner of the company intentionally refuses to hire people based on race, I say that's bad. So if you come to me and say, should companies be allowed to reject applicants based on race? My answer is, well, it depends. You see, there's a challenge here. In acting, in movies, there are certain industries where you are allowed to hire based on race. Hollywood is a good example. They're exempt from all this. They say, we have a character. He's a large black man. We're not going to hire a white person for this. The script calls for a large black male. You are allowed to hire based on that. So sometimes it's fine. If they don't get to the nitty gritty, they use polls to manipulate. You will say, I think it's wrong. And they'll say, bang, this person supports DEI. That's the trick. But I got to hand it to CBS. You reap what you sow. I mean, shout out to this guy for asking the honest questions and trying to push back. But I do love that this is how the corporate press operates. We'll leave it there, my friends. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know. Become a member at timcast.com. Follow me on X at Timcast and Instagram. We're not done. I got one more. We'll go a little late today. My team may yell at me, but we're going to get it for you. Aliens. For fun, for the weekend. Smash that like button, subscribe. We'll see you all tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/timcastirl. If you're watching live, we'll grab your super chats now.